Yo, what's up everybody and welcome to my Stellar Blade review. Now, Stellar Blade is an action game developed by Korean developer Shift Up. It's their first foray into console game development and it turned out pretty good if I say so myself, so let's get into the review. Let's touch on the gameplay and game design first, the most important aspect of any video game. You have some basic combos at your disposal as well as a block, dodge, parry, and a jump as your basic defensive options. If you parry enough of an enemy's attacks, you can stun them and hit them with a super cool retribution attack that deals massive damage. As you progress, you can unlock a variety of cool looking skills that add to your arsenal. Some of these skills are attacks, but others are defensive options that allow you to counter specific enemy attacks. These enemy attacks will flash with a color that will inform you of which defensive option you should use, similar to how a kanji would flash on the screen during enemies' attacks in Sekiro. Other tools in your arsenal are a ranged weapon that can fire a few different types of ammo and a sweet time-limited power-up similar to Dante's Devil Trigger and Devil May Cry. The combat starts out kinda basic, but it gets pretty good once you have most of the skills unlocked. The action is stylish and both looks and feels really good. You'll be teleporting behind enemies, attacks to hit them, countering them with a backflip kick and shooting a weak point that you expose and hitting them with some really cool looking moves. The enemy variety is pretty good, but the boss fights are the highlight of the game. There are several great boss fights that will put your skills and reflexes to the test. In a throwback to the glory days of gaming, there are a lot of costumes to obtain, not only for the main character Eve, but also for her companions Adam, Lily, and the little robot that accompanies you. This may seem like a minor feature, but in today's shitty, greedy gaming landscape where you are charged 20 bucks extra for a fucking costume or some other garbage cosmetic, it is incredibly refreshing. I'm tempted to inflate the score of this game on that feature alone. I would definitely dock the score of a fucking game that had a bunch of shitty microtransactions. I won't even play that shit. As a matter of fact, even the design of the game seems to harken back to when games were great with no caveats. There are collectibles actually hidden in the environment that are not marked on your map. You can pick up side missions from people around the hub area and a bounty board. These side missions are basically just standard, go here, do this, fight that stuff, but they're short and to the point. There is no bloat or wasting your time. Modern gaming. It sort of feels like a game from the PS2 era, and I mean that in the best way possible. There's also some platforming in the game that is decent, and you can actually swim and dive underwater, which is something I didn't realize I missed in a game like this until now. You could do it in old God of War and Ninja Gaiden games, and there'd be hidden stuff in the water and that's true here. There's also a really cool New Game Plus mode that actually gives you new skills and more costumes to obtain. I'm gonna give the gameplay and design of the game an 8 out of 10. Pretty good. It would easily be a 9 if there was more weapon and skill variety, but you only have the same sword the whole game, which is my only complaint gameplay wise. I would have liked to get another weapon and whole nother, or some more combos and some more skills. That would have like put it up a little bit. Maybe some more enemies too. I don't know. Yeah. Alright, let's move on to the graphics and sound. The graphics and art direction are quite nice. The future post-apocalyptic setting looks good, but the real star of the show here is Eve. Damn, she looks good, and I really like the design of most of her outfits. The enemy designs look pretty good too, pretty gnarly monsters. The music was really cool as well. It has this like melancholy vibe when you're hanging out in the hub or trapped in 3 environments or chilling at like a save spot. And then it has some great intense tracks when having a showdown with the boss. The graphics and music aspect of the game is a 8 out of 10. It looks good, sounds good, pretty solid. And as for the performance of the game, I'll touch on that real quick. I played in performance mode and it ran pretty damn smooth, so no issues there. No crashes, nothing like that. Alright. Well, let's move on to the weakest aspect of the game. The story and the characters. You play as Eve, a smoking hot Korean android lady who is sent to Earth to defeat the Natibas. Am I saying that good? Natibas? monstrous creatures that have pushed humanity to the brink of extinction. As the story progresses, Eve learns the truth of what happened. There's a twist that is pretty obvious. You see it coming 10 million miles away. The story is kind of there in this game. Not necessarily a bad thing in a game like this. A good story is not needed for a good game, and that's true here. None of the characters really stand out either. Eve is kind of bland for the main character of a character-focused action game like this. I mean, compared to other MCs of the genre, like Bayonetta, Dante, or Kratos, who have, you know, big personalities, and her personality is just lacking. Not the biggest criticism, not the biggest deal either, really. Gameplay carries these games anyway. And, well, the lack of personality could also be said for pretty much all the characters in the game. Story and characters aspect of the game is a 6 out of 10. The setting's really the most interesting part, kinda. And that brings my review to an end. So the final score for Stellar Blade is a pretty solid 8 out of 10. That's a good first effort for a studio, and they made good decisions. They didn't do any of the stupid shit that fucking all these dumbass game studios do nowadays. So I'm gonna give them a solid 8 out of 10. So if you played Stellar Blade, what'd you think of the game? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you later.